So when I played in the 60s, I had no idea how much money Era Parsegian made. Now, retrospectively, because I know what the football coach at Oregon State made in the early 70s, around $25,000, I'm guessing that Era made, $40,000 or something. But it's just a guess. We didn't know, and it didn't matter to us. It wasn't a factor that was part of our lives. Today, of course, we have some coaches making over $5 million, and the average coach in the whole football bowl subdivision is over $1 million, and the BCS bowls, $2 million has become kind of entry level for a coach. So how did that happen?
Entry level. That's neat.
Well, I mean, entry level at the highest level.
Yeah,
I mean, you pay your dues before you get there.
Yeah.
But okay, so competition from the NFL has to be one factor because some of these coaches move back and forth. Although what it takes to be successful in the NFL and in college are completely different things.
Oh, very few guys. Jimmy Johnson, that's about it.
Yeah, guys don't make that transition very smoothly either direction for the most part, right? But it's not just these market forces out there over which universities have no control. It's the decisions that individual institutions make. And so you mentioned Amos Alonzo Stagg, being hired at a professor's salary back in 1891. It was controversial at the time. One of my favorite stories is the University of Texas hired Dana Bible away from Nebraska around 1936-37. And in order to do so, had to offer him a salary that was more than the president of the university made. And this was against state law. So the Texas state legislature increased the president's salary by, a couple thousand or whatever to match the 17.5 or whatever that Dana Bible made. But, the sort of beginning seismic tremor that rippled out, as far as I know, was when Texas A&M signed a guy named Jackie Sherrill, right from Pittsburgh around 1982, 83, at roughly double the going rate for a top coach. Bo Schembechler at the time, for example, at Michigan was making $150,000, and Texas A&M signed Jackie Sherrill for close to $300,000. And what happens as soon as that happens is everybody else that's competing at that level has to start bumping their salaries to match them. And then, once the head coach is making that much, then you have all the assistants underneath, And also you got an athletic director, so, his goes up, and actually the head of the NC2A, so there's all these ripple effects that just increase the costs enormously. So this was in the early to mid 80s. The next sort of landmark case was Florida State in 1995, giving Bobby Bowden the first $1 million coach. And I can't tell you how much greater that was from the going rate, but it was a considerable jump at the time. And just within 2 years, Florida, the bitter rival of Florida State, has to go Florida State one better, so they give Steve Spurrier the first $2 million. And so now these things have escalated up to the point where some coaches now, they get hired and they get clauses in their contracts, because no coach negotiates his own contract anymore. They all have agents, just like NFL stars do. And so they get these contracts that, this coach will make the highest salary in the conference or no less than the second highest salary in the whatever, And so, there's just this, ratcheting upwards, so that we're now over $5 million in a couple of cases.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.